Out of all the fishing methods on the globe, bottom trawling is by far the most destructive, targeting groundfish and semi-pelagic species such as cod, shrimp, and squid. Bottom trawling wipes out several other marine habitats and destroys the ocean floor in the process. This fishing method is performed by dragging large weighted nets, some as big as football fields, across the ocean floor. The net has a large opening and a small enclosed end. At the opening of the net, there are two weighted doors that can weigh up to 1,300 pounds and whose purpose is to keep the net open and weighted down to the ocean floor. The bottom of the net is also made of a thick metal cable called a foot rope containing steel bars or rubber bobbins that destroy everything in their path, including coral and sponge habitats. After they bring in their nets, the fishermen sort through their haul, keeping fish like cod, haddock, flounder, sole, rockfish, orange roughy, shrimp, octopus, and squid. The rest is left as bycatch to be thrown back overboard into the sea. So what's the problem with deep sea bottom trawling? Well, trawling causes many destructions such as bycatch, habitat loss, negative impacts on local fisheries, and adds to the negative effects of climate change.
It's a short-term, destructive, unsustainable operation.
More importantly, bottom trawls do not distinguish between target and non-target species. Those non-target species are commonly referred to as bycatch, which is defined as any wildlife caught during commercial fishing that is unwanted. These species are often dolphins, seals, sea turtles, and seabirds. The main reason these species end up dying in the net is because they have no access to air during their time in the net. America's retained fish catch is only 18%. The other 82% is just bycatch. Jerry Geen, who bought over the pelagic super trawler Abel Tasman to Australia to fish on the coast, was combated by the campaigns that targeted bycatch. During his research on how to prevent it, he did studies on seal behavior within these nets. This footage shows the distress a seal had gone through while trying to escape a trawling net. Few seals were able to survive more than 9 minutes because of lack of oxygen. 55 died in the net and 20 others were estimated to have died due to injuries the net had caused. These non-target species only skim the surface of what marine species are being affected by bottom trawling.
Crush everything, and that's what happens. So at the end of the day, what is left over? This is what's left over after the passage of one single passage of a trawl in the deep sea, and it wipes out just literally everything.
Shown here is the before and after photos of one single passage of a bottom trawler. Claire Nuvian's TED Talk provides this 3D image of the diversity of marine life that are in range of the bottom trawling net as it swipes the sea floor. The next image is if this were to happen in the savannah. This picture is a lot more shocking to the common eye because of human attachment to mammals like elephants and giraffes. Coral reef damages caused by bottom trawling are long-lasting because of how long it takes coral to grow. Depending on the species of coral, it could take a whole year to grow only 0.3 centimeters. This means that one pass of a bottom trawl can take out corals that are centuries old. Trawling equipment such as the rock hoppers or weighted wheels crush all structures, including large coral ecosystems. This is particularly detrimental because of the biodiversity located within coral reefs. They are thought to contain some of the highest biodiversity, second only to the tropical rainforests. Coral reefs also act as hiding spots for prey, and if those spots are gone, then the prey have no chances of survival. This can cause a bottom-up trophic cascade in which predators will either die out or shift to their hunting ranges.
What we're seeing is a systematic wipeout of these deep-sea reefs. And because the animals aren't found anywhere else, and you have extraordinary endemism on these features, what we're witnessing is extinction after extinction of animals that haven't even been described. It's quite an unacceptable practice.
One of the greatest issues we face today is a changing climate. The warming temperatures have been melting ice in the Arctic, opening up more oceans to the destructive act of deep-sea trawling. Some Arctic adapted species are losing habitat because of the ice caps retreating at an alarming rate. The Pacific walrus, especially in the Bering Sea, is being insularized as the southern edges of their habitat range retreat. This is a problem as commercial fisheries enter their range, as they now become susceptible to becoming bycatch. As ice retreats, polar bears are also vulnerable to getting caught in commercial nets. Some sub-Arctic species are shifting their ranges northward into the Bering, Chukchi, and the North Seas. Some of these species include the snow crab, the sand eel, and blue mussels.
Well, this is the consequence of Britain's insatiable appetite for cod. Trawlers like this one, a British trawler, going further and further north into the Arctic to supply demand. And environmental campaigners say that movement north has to stop now if the fragile ecosystem around the Arctic is to be saved.
The Arctic is yet another essential but fragile ecosystem that needs protection from trawling. The large machinery involved with bottom trawling also negatively impacts the use of other small fishery gear, leading to disputes. As bottom trawls swipe the seafloor, local fishery equipment will oftentimes get swiped within the net.
250 tonnes of fish a day, and its quota is nearly 18,000 tonnes.
Because bottom trawling allows for operations to catch extremely large volumes of sea life, local fishermen catch much less. The quota of this one ship is 18,000 tons, and the sustainable quota is 36,000 tons for the entire year in Australia. Not only is it half of the sustainable quota for the year, but the large commercial fisheries are buying fishing permits from the smaller local fisheries.
Was initially reluctant to admit the super trawler partners had been trying to buy up more quota.
It's a commercial venture, and certainly if it was viable and economic to buy other quotas or lease them, we'd certainly look at that.
The introduction of bottom trawling in Indonesia has reduced its local fisheries catch by 40%. The same situation is happening globally as commercial trawlers are expanding, exposing local fishing-based communities to economic collapse as their catch is eradicated. So what do we do? One fisherman-friendly solution to reducing the amount of bycatch is to use turtle and seal excluder devices. While saving money on fuel costs and net repairs, these specific nets better target the species that are put on the market. The special grid bars are put at the top or bottom of the trawl net, filtering the target species. The larger animals that are often bycatch strike the grid and eject through the opening. The world's second largest barrier reef is located off the coast of Belize. This important ecosystem, as well as the tourism brought in, is being threatened by commercial trawling. As of 2012, measures have been taken to protect the ecosystem and economy by banning all forms of trawling. These areas are now protected marine reserves.
This is a massive step forward in ocean protection. It's a bigger step forward than the globe has ever previously seen.
The amount of marine parks protected by Australia covers 3.2 million square kilometers. This map shows the different territories protected, and the color indicates the different zones based on activities permitted in each area. Green zones protect important habitats. It allows for tourism like snorkeling and research, but no fishing. Yellow zones have high-level protection for ecosystems on the seafloor. It allows for tourism, research, and fishing without disturbance of the seafloor. Blue zones allow for sustainable activities like fishing. The zoning has led to better management of marine reserves, and this tool that Australia uses is a good example of an action that can be distributed globally. Overall, bottom trawling is a very destructive human activity. It tears down coral and benthic ecosystems just as humans would clear-cut a tropical forest. This ultimate habitat loss leads to biological changes within marine life, including problematic range shifts, trophic cascades, and overall species loss. Commercial trawling has outcompeted the smaller local fisheries around the world, leaving them with no fish to catch and a declining economy. For a sustainable future, promoting the protection of marine parks and new technology such as the turtle excluder device can minimize the inefficiencies of commercial trawling. If we protected just 1/3 of the ocean from exploitation, we'd be able to maximize the benefits we receive from conservation to tourism to fisheries. As Greenpeace would say, protect what you love.